welcome. I'm Don Haisley, principal at Hemingway Elementary School. And we've had the program originated with one strand at Hemingway in Ketchum and with two strands in Bellevue. The history of that, we were looking back in the last strategic planning process that the district went through. We were looking for what ways can we meet the needs of our students who are coming to us with English as a second language. And looking at the research by Thomas and Colliers, the method that they had, or the program that they were studying, was a two-way language immersion program. And the program showed that students enrolled in this program, that 50% of the time is spent with instruction in Spanish, 50% of the time instruction is in English, and that the results for the ESL students that had English as a second language, that at first their progress that they made was a little bit slower than the peer groups in the other grade levels. But about the third and fourth year of the program, these students were catching up with their peers and starting to pass them. What they noticed then was going into the middle school and high school, and they did many longitudinal studies, that the students who had been in the two-way bilingual immersion programs were continuing with the gains that they had made and were starting to perform above their peer groups. But they noticed that that wasn't true only for the Spanish-speaking students in the program, the non-English-speaking students, but that those changes were also true for the native English-speaking students who were in the program also. And so Blaine County decided to adopt that program as what became what we're calling the dual immersion program. And that started in Blaine County in 2001. And as I said, we had one kindergarten class at Hemingway and two kindergarten classes at Bellevue. And through the years, then we kept marching that class forward and bringing in a new kindergarten. And we now have our original class is now in 6th grade at Wood River Middle School. And we've been doing this long enough now that the data that we've collected on our students who have been enrolled in the dual immersion program are matching what we were seeing in the research by Thomas and Colliers, that the first several years of the program, our students lagged behind their peers just a little bit. They're a little slower in developing their reading skills, but then again, they're learning in two languages. Half of the time they're learning in Spanish, half the time they're learning in English. But by learning in both languages, they're developing neural connections, which over time allow them to become better students, they learn faster, they learn at better rates. We're seeing now, when we looked at our 5th graders on ISAT scores last spring, that our native English speakers in the program, 100% of the native English speakers in the program were proficient in reading, compared with, I believe it's about 89 or 90% of our Anglos that were not in the program. So whereas all of our English-speaking students in the program, leaving 5th grade, 100% of them were proficient by state standards. We're scoring higher than our English speakers that were not in the program. We're also seeing that on our Hispanic side, on our English as a second language students, that they were also scoring at levels above or beyond their peer group that were not in the dual immersion program. But the interesting thing in the data, at the end of the 5th grade, they were pretty comparable. When they went into the 6th grade in the fall ISAT test, the English as a second language students in the dual immersion program, they stayed at a high proficient level, whereas the students that were not in the dual immersion program, over the summer there was a drop-off on their scores, and there were fewer of them proficient going into the fall. So we've been very proud of our program. This will now be our 7th year, going forward into next year with the program. And we're seeing the kinds of results we're expecting to see. And I know we have, I'm about to introduce my two kindergarten teachers from Hemingway who work in the program to talk a little bit about it. And I think you'll hear a little bit more from both teachers, and once again have an opportunity to ask questions at the end. So if I could have Lisa Shocker and Laura Chris, and these are two kindergarten teachers at Hemingway Elementary School involved in the program.